let's back up first. Back. Yeah, so when we did our first finite state machine, you remember I said, oh, yeah, we had 5 states, and I said we needed 3 bits because 3 bits gives us 8 possible states. 2 bits would only be 4. 3 gives us 8, right? That assumption is assuming that I've encoded these in a binary format, right? That's basically saying, just what I drew here. This assumed a binary format for the counter, right? I said if I have 8 bits, I have 2 to the 8 states. If I have 7 bits, I have 2 to the 7 states. That's binary encoding, okay? Now, sometimes we don't want to use binary encoding, either for finite state machines or even counters if we don't want to. And so instead of encoding it like this, where we had, these get converted into binary values, what is commonly used in, I shouldn't say commonly, but sometimes used in, particularly in FPGAs, like you're using for this lab, is what are called one-hot finite state machines. And a one-hot finite state machine, instead of encoding the states in a binary format, it says, I have this special format where only 1 bit is on, or hot. Only 1 bit is turned on for every state. So below is a state diagram for a one-hot state machine. It has 5 states, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, SA, SB, SC, SD, SE. And you'll notice the states, the definition, state A is 5 bits, it's got 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. B is 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, and so on. There's only 1 bit turned on for any one of these states. And so quickly you could realize, if I have binary encoding, if I have n is the number of states I want, I get 2 to the n states, right? So we just did 8. If I have 8 bits, I get up to 256 states. If I use one-hot encoding, if I have 8 bits, I only get 8 states, much fewer states. So for a given number of states, I need more flip-flops. So you'd say, well, why would I want to do that? It's requiring a lot more circuitry to do this one-hot encoding than binary encoding. Well, the reason you do it is because it makes the logic much simpler and faster. So back here, when we did this binary encoding here, there's going to be some logic that does the next state calculation. This shows what the logic is. If I one-hot encode that instead of binary encode it, this logic generally turns out to be simpler and less levels of logic, which makes it faster. And as long as my flip-flops are fast, then this whole engine will run at a faster rate. And that's particularly important for FPGAs because in FPGAs, the logic is usually the bottleneck, not the flip-flops. In FPGAs, we tend to have lots of flip-flops, lots of extra flip-flops, and they're fast, but the logic is slow. And we'll talk about that later, why it's slower, but this tends to be slow. So anything that can help speed up this logic part of the finite state machine can make the whole finite state machine work faster, i.e. the logic is the bottleneck, not the flip-flops. So that's why one-hot encoding is really common in FPGAs where you want things to go really fast. It's even used in ASICs sometimes where you have a little finite state machine that has to go super fast, but more common in FPGAs. And so down below here is the state table for it. The state A is 0, 0, 1. If X is 0, the next state is SA. If X equals 1, the next state is B. So I went this way, and so on, and fill it out. Well, it turns out writing this logic is super simple. Let's look at state A. All we have to do for state A is say, well, how can we get to state A? There's only 2 possible ways to get state A. I come from state A from the current state, or I come from state A from state E. So if I want to write the next state for state A, or I can come from state D. There's 3 possible ways to get to state A. Stay from state A, come from state E, or come from state D. So I can write the logic directly. It says A plus, that's the next state, will be not X and A, so that's this one. I can write the logic directly. Or X and D, so this was the X true and the D, or E comes automatically. So that's you can just write this logic out. It's just a sum of products here, and this turns out to be fast. For state B, there's only one way. State B only comes from state A. So for state B plus is just X and A. If X is true and you're in state A, your next state is B. So this logic is super simple. You can just write it out. But when you look at the state diagram, you can write it out. You don't have to figure out all the complex relationships. So the logic is intuitive, usually smaller gate-wise, almost always faster. So that's one hot state machines. We probably won't use them much in this course because I'm not going to make you make the FPGA circuits go really fast. But in real life, if you're building a product and you need your FPGAs to work at 100 megahertz or more, these are commonly used. Okay, any questions about that?